better not have no plans tonight.
Movie time and it's feeling right.
You're looking for a love that lasts. You'll find it at Romancing the Podcast. Ooh, ooh, baby, you had me at hello. Ooh, I love you.
I know.
Ooh, ooh, baby, you're the wind beneath my wings. Ooh, ah, I'll have what she's having.
Thank you for tuning into Romancing the Pod. You had us at hello. I'm Paige Wesley.
And I'm Todd Schlosser. And this week, Paige made us watch
Merry
Little Xmas.
This was actually you. You had seen a commercial for this.
I hate it. I hated it.
Same. I did too.
I hate that I didn't pick a better movie. I gotta stop picking movies I haven't seen. That's the problem with these like just out Netflix movies.
Yes.
Like, what are we doing, guys? Well, Paige, okay, this is clearly the first time I saw it. I'm assuming it was the first time you saw it as well.
Yes, it was definitely my first time. I mentioned before we started officially rolling on the episode that I don't know if this was a movie or a lecture on energy efficient appliances, but either one is about as interesting as this movie is. I texted you at...
It was 11. Yeah.
It was 11 because we were in the same time zone.
I was already asleep.
Yeah. I realized that as I was doing it. I was like, oh, he's probably already in bed. I was watching this late at night and I texted you, I hate everyone but Chet. And I'm here to tell you, I stand by that. That was like 3/4 of the way through the movie that I was texting you that. I still stand by it.
Yeah, Paige, I know exactly when you texted me that. That was when he was fighting the fire in the tree with his tearaway tux.
It was actually before that.
Oh my God. So you fell in love a little bit later, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Like, Chet is the only person you're meant to love, Paige, because he's the hot guy.
Yes.
So like when I read that this morning, I was like, yeah, no shit. He's the only guy who's like broad and takes his clothes off in this movie. Of course you like him.
Well, he's also the only one with any comedic timing.
Oh, disagree. Nigel has some comedic timing.
Oh, that's true.
And I'll say this about Nigel.
He grew on me.
I don't know where that dude's really from, but I'm pretty sure this portrayal is racist to British people, and I can't really explain why, but he feels just offensive.
Yeah.
But he is, like, I think the guy playing him actually has some comedic timing because he's being asked to deliver nonsense.
Absolute nonsense.
And some of it kind of lands.
Yes.
Which... I'm hoping you all have not seen this movie.
Sure.
So just take my word on it. He is portrayed like he grew up in England and he is still obsessed with Harry Potter.
Correct.
It was just weird to me that this, like, I don't know, 22-year-old guy was like obsessed with the book series that had finished by the time he was born. Like, I don't know. It was crazy to me. But it also felt very true to like, oh, this movie's for 50-year-olds and they don't understand what's going on with the kids. So they're just going to pretend that what was going on with the kids when they were young adults is still going on with the kids. And so that's how it felt.
Yeah, I think in the same way, it's also for 50-year-olds in that we're going to express that we understand women's emotional labor and dissatisfaction in the nuclear family, but we're not going to do anything about it. Like at the end of the movie, she's still going to not really have her dreams and be married to a person who treated her very badly for 20 years. And we're supposed to be fucking happy about it.
Yeah.
With her spoiled brat ass children. Like when I texted you, I hate everyone but Chet, I fucking meant that shit. Nigel grew on me by the end. We'll give Nigel a bit of a pass because he is a fiction. He's not a person.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for Nigel because I think he's like a decent-ish actor who's kind of funny, but he was written terribly. But that's not his fault, you know? I don't really like Nigel that much in the movie. I just think that actor could have done a better job with better lines.
Yeah, no, Nigel is red flag city because he was written by someone who doesn't understand humans. But like, I don't understand how Chet exists in this movie. Like he is, I think one of two things has happened.
Both Chet and the doctor's girlfriend are actually ghosts.
Oh my God, yes. But they're the ghost of Santa. I have that in my notes at least two places. But Chet is either the result of them hiring someone in to come in and punch up the script, and that person deciding that the only person they could punch up without altering their character was Chet because he's kind of nothing. And so they just literally gave him the funniest lines in the entire movie. Plus, he's played by Pearson Fode, who was in
The Wrong Paris. Yeah, when I saw him on the screen, I was like, nice, because this guy's nuts.
crazy. And he has all the charisma in the world. Dude, full of riz. And so it's one of those things where you're just, I felt myself watching it being like, we got to put him in movies that aren't Hallmark.
Yeah, well, I actually thought that too. Like, this guy probably can do other things than,
Yes.
I don't know, pretend to be an 11-year-old stuck in a sexy 30-year-old man's body. Like, the relationship he was trying to enter into made me very uncomfortable in the movie because he's trying to date a 50-year-old woman and he's an 11-year-old boy stuck in a 30-year-old man's body. Like, it would be like Tom Hanks from Big
Yes.
trying to fuck Kris Jenner really hard. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes,
that is
yes.
what it looks like to me on screen. So even his character made me uncomfortable, but not because the way he looks and the way Alicia Silverstone looks, like who you like, it's fine. They're both legal adults. I don't give a shit. But it's that fact that he was playing it like he had some sort of developmental disability that made him the 11-year-old child mentally. It made me very uncomfortable. When he ended up with the 1% really terrible person that the doctor was with, I also felt the same. Like, it wasn't about the age gap between their bodies.
Yeah.
It was about the age gap between their minds. It made me uncomfortable.
Here's what I will say. The one thing that saves me about it for Alicia Silverstone is that she is playing it as if she clearly understands that he's hot and likes to look at him, but is not really interested in him at all. He is purely there for revenge, and she is kind of equally as amused by him as we are.
Yes, and we should be. The dude's hilarious.
He's hilarious. But again, I'm like, right now you're giving him Kirkland brand Glenn Powell roles. And like, let's get him some real Glenn Powell roles. Not Running Man. He's not that good yet, but like, something else.
I mean, I would like to see him try and do a serious thing. I bet he could do it.
I'd watch it.
Comedy's usually harder.
Agreed. And it's hard to be hot and funny. Like, that is a problem. If you had a look at our whole roast battle team this week, you'd agree with me.
Not many people ever achieve the status of hot-larious, Paige. I get it.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been trying to get that plaque on my wall for 30 years.
Frank's Red Hot's Hot Hilarious competition.
I'll say this about the movie's premise. It feels like the movie is a sequel to a Hallmark movie where a 30 or maybe like a 26-something almost architect goes to...
I love that it's architect, the consummate rom-com job.
I know, it's always an architect, right? Goes to a small town called Winterlight, gross, and falls in love with the local doctor who's age appropriate, and then she moves there and gives up her job in the big city, right? This is a sequel where she has a chance to get all of what she gave up
Yes.
for this guy who treated her poorly.
Yep.
She has a chance to get all that back. And she decides by the end of the movie, she doesn't want it.
Yeah, no, I never wanted those things. Why would I ever when I have my children?
The movie convinces her to give it all up again. I don't know. I kind of felt bad for her. For a second, I thought they might have landed it because he was like, I can be a doctor anywhere. Let's go to Boston, which
Yeah.
is the city she was going to have the job. I was like, oh, this is kind of great because their kids are out of high school.
Yeah.
They're both going to be at college. One of them's in England. Like, one of them's at Cambridge.
Right.
Like, that one's not going to care. I mean, they might be upset about their family home going away, which I kind of understand. I was pretty poor growing up, so I moved around a lot. I don't have like a childhood home or whatever. Natalie did, and she has a lot of love for it. So, like, I understand that you might be disappointed, but like, that's a part of life.
Yeah.
Losing your childhood home or whatever. Like, Natalie actually ended up buying her childhood home.
Yeah.
And then eventually sold it. But yeah, she like lived in it for a while. That's how much she loved it. But anyway, like, I wouldn't have liked the movie, candidly, because it's not a good movie. But I would have liked the ending better if the doctor, who could doctor anywhere because doctors are needed everywhere, just moved to Boston and then she got to do her job, guys.
Yeah, well, I still wouldn't have liked that because I didn't want him to be with her.
Oh, that's also a good point. Yeah.
He doesn't understand how he was so cruel to her. Like, what?
Okay, so I do think when they're partners, like Chet and the terrible 1% lady that the doctor is dating, when they become like therapists for each of them. Like Chet talks to her husband,
Right.
and Alicia Silverstone talks to the terrible 1% lady. Like they, I think, do understand their marriage from the other person's perspective, which is good. That's like a step on the road to being better as a person. And he does sort of apologize for being a bad husband and owns up to the things he did that was shitty. So like he's saying the right things. I guess my point is that doesn't mean he's changed at all.
Right.
It just means he knows how he was terrible to you.
Right.
Although we do get that flash forward a year and he is the guy waiting at home for his wife working late and stuff. So like they do flip some of it, but it doesn't feel super earned. I don't know. I just thought the whole thing, I was like rolling my eyes through it the whole time.
Rightfully so.
Like Kate's son has a voice that's 3 octaves below his face.
Yes.
I don't really know why, but his face was giving me homeroom, but his voice was trying to sell me a home loan.
Yes.
Like it was very weird. And I'll be honest with you, Natalie wrote the first half of that joke because we were watching this together last night, and she said that out loud, and I was like, I'm writing that down.
That's great. I agree with you.
It's not a bad voice either. It's just like a child talking like a 50-year-old man at you. You're like, what is happening?
It's real boss baby for sure.
Yeah.
Her children are so unbelievably cruel to her in this movie. And I would understand if they were younger, right? Like if we're dealing with a junior higher and a high schooler acting this way, I get it. These are full-blown adults.
Yeah, only one of them is a high schooler, and he's a senior.
He's a senior.
And that's the youngest. The oldest is at Cambridge, so she's probably at least...
Or she's at Oxford.
That's right. She's probably 19, 20, 21, something like that.
Something like that. And I was thinking back, I was like, when I was 19, was I so blatantly unaware of things that would make my mom happy that I would be this cruel to her? Like as a younger teen, like call it 14 or something like that, I might have accidentally been this self-centered and cruel for sure. But as like a 21-year-old, I can't imagine treating my mother this way at Christmas. Like I was mad on their behalf. Now, granted, my family notably has a number of Christmas traditions that are not materialistic that I advocate for keeping every year. So I am maybe a little more on the Alicia Silverstone side of things as far as Christmas goes in general and life goes in general as someone who also has solar panels. But like, if your parent is not abusive to you, like if your parent's not cruel and mean to you, I don't understand not being like, yeah, mom, of course we'll fold origami cranes for Christmas. Or like, yeah, I'm excited to have Christmas breakfast with you. Like those are the memories that you want to make because you don't have your parents forever. And these kids are like, no, gross, buy me a new sweater. I was like, what? You fucking brats don't deserve everything. I hope she sells the house and disinherits you.
I know,
like,
right?
What the fuck? I hated them.
You can kind of tell at the end of this movie by the first scene. By the end of the first scene, you're like, oh, they're going to get back together and she's going to decide to stay back in this town.
Right.
And the whole time you're like, God, if you just moved to Boston, you'd find somebody real quick, Alicia Silverstone, because you look like Alicia Silverstone. I mean, she looks 50, but she looks an amazing 50. You know what I'm saying? Like,
she looks great.
Yeah.
She looks great. Yes, I kept thinking that where I was like,
yeah,
go get your life, girl. Like, don't stay with these ass. No one is even remotely grateful or thankful for the last 20 plus years that you have sacrificed everything so they can have a good, cool life. Like, what?
Yeah.
And then anytime they're like comparing the two, where they're like, he was a doctor, so he was gone all the time. So she was basically, it was almost like she was a single mother. She was raising these kids on her own. He was never home. That is a valid complaint.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely, and that's after her giving up her career.
And it's positioned like he did that. Like he stayed at the office so much because like their house was too sustainable.
Yes, that's the flip. They're like, well, he didn't want to spend time with you because you care too much about the environment.
Right. Yeah.
Like what?
I was like, so he's like a workaholic and a monster. So like, that doesn't make me want them to be together. Like, why would you? That's a terrible thing. Like, well, this is awful.
Yes, I felt the same way. And the thing is, they list out for her like environmentalism that are supposed to be air quotes extreme, I found myself being like, for half of them, I was like, that doesn't sound like such a bad idea. Like, where I was like, hey.
I was like, my mom has a compost. Like, what are we talking about? Like, that's not like crazy.
That's not crazy, especially if you have a yard and they have like a yard. And the whole like, everyone hates your homemade cinnamon toothpaste. I'm like, toothpaste is not that hard to make at home. Like in a pinch, if you've got some like stuff around the house, anyone can make toothpaste and it tastes about the same as toothpaste.
Yeah, all you need is turpentine, anthrax, a little bit of cinnamon. Like, it's easy.
Yeah. I mean, not everyone always has cinnamon around the house, but everything else, so like, I think it's just baking soda and water most of the time.
Wait, I've heard that song. I think they're talking about making something else. I don't think it's about toothpaste.
I've got baking soda and water. It's the weirdest cover of Sex and Candy ever. Yeah. And every time they bring this up as if like, well, understandably, they had hand-me-down coats.
I know. When that was the reveal, I was like, wait, I had hand-me-down coats until I could buy my own coats. Like,
yes.
I don't know what we're talking about here. These kids are hella spoiled.
They're so
but I mean,
spoiled.
I don't know. I'm sure there are families like that where like that would be a big problem, especially like because it's positioned like they have the money to just buy fast fashion and throw it out. And the reason they don't is because the mom, Alicia Silverstone, is very like environmentally conscious.
Good,
which
though.
is not a bad thing, but they make it seem like, isn't she such a bitch? You're like, no. Her kids are little bitches, but no, she seems kind of nice, kind of conscious about the planet, really doing the best in the shitty relationship she grew up into. Like, I don't know. I felt bad for her the whole movie. And then by the end of it, still feel bad for her.
In this beautiful, gorgeous house, this like dream of a house. And I am someone who tries to avoid buying fast fashion as much as I can, right? As a plus size person, it's not always possible. I understand, but like that's something that I try to do in my life. So I thrift a lot. I make clothes, like whatever. I am still the most well-dressed person in most rooms. Like it is not, the fact that it came from Goodwill or secondhand doesn't mean it was bad or had holes in it or anything. And she actually makes this point in the movie where she's like, none of your coats had holes in them. We had toilet paper. We had electricity.
All of your clothes fit.
All of your clothes fit. You were fed. Like, and her children are not dressed badly or anything. Like,
it's not like her kids are making good choices anyway. One of them's dating literally Harry Potter.
Nigel.
Yeah.
One of them's dating Nigel, who at one point triumphantly yells, Daniel Radcliffe.
I understood that. I got that. I saw Equus. I actually didn't, but that's the play he was naked in, so I thought it would be funny.
Oh man.
Paige, I don't know that we're going to have a lot to talk about with this movie because the movie's not long already.
No.
And it's not great.
It's not. Here's what I need. I need more crazy Netflix Christmas movies. I need more Princess Switch, where we also have British Bake Off in the middle of it. I need The Night Before Christmas, where we've got Sir Cole. Like,
what you need, Paige, is Hot Frosty with Chet from this movie.
I need Hot Frosty with Chet from this movie.
I know you do.
Oh my God, I would give fucking everything.
A movie about Christmas strippers featuring Chet from this movie.
Just put him in Merry Gentlemen. Like, let's do it. But like, I need something, I need it weird, I need it funny, because essentially we've had 2 weeks in a row of like shitty families and then being like, guess these people should be together, ? And I'm like, no, not even under the will of Santa.
No, they're treating the like romantic options for the leads in those movies like the economy currently. Like you've got to lock down any man because there's no men out there right now. Instead of like, there's no jobs out there right now. So like, don't lose your job or like, it's hard to find a new job, because like, the economy sucks right now. But like, that's not the way it is for relationships out there. Like both of the romantic interests in the past 2 movies could have replaced their current partners very easily.
Yes.
Just by like going on Hinge for an evening. They would have gotten like 9 dick pics with a Santa hat on the top.
I mean, that's how you know it's Christmas. But like, that's what I want in my stocking.
She did get one, and you could tell they didn't celebrate Christmas, they celebrated Hanukkah, Paige.
Oh.
You could tell because the yarmulke. Anyway, Paige, we probably should get through this movie scene by scene.
Let's do it. We start with an animated intro again, and to this I have to tell Netflix, if no one has told you already, telling and showing are two different things, and your animations telling us all the expositions are not solving your story problems.
I felt like we were speed running a movie.
Yes.
Because they literally tell you the entire plot of what the first of this movie would have been. And that is like a whole Hallmark movie.
Right.
This lady from the city who's going to be an architect does have a job lined up, goes to Winterlight, meets Everett, who is the town doctor, played by Oliver Hudson. And he is charming. He's tall. He's like everything. He's, what is she, Jamali? I don't know. Jamila Jamil calls him Clooney because he's older.
Yeah.
But he is like the 29-year-old Clooney, like the hot doctor in town.
The hot doctor on ER.
Yeah. But at this point in America, like he'd be having to move back to a city because the hospital he works for is being shut down.
Right.
Because of like various different reasons.
Right.
But they're doing fine for whatever reason. Anyway, the animated intro of this is just like she falls in love with him and decides to give up her career and be with him. They have 2 kids. She's like a handy woman for the town, more or less.
Love
That's
it.
like her job. Yeah.
Love that for her.
And he's the town doctor, and they just grew apart. And then we like open up on, and I thought it was so funny, Paige, because she's been talking for 3 minutes at least.
At least.
It's 3 minutes of exposition up top. I literally wrote in my notes, this is going on too long for this to be a good movie.
100%.
And then she says to transition out of the voiceover into the actual like movie, she goes, well, let me just stop talking and I'll just show you. And I was like, I hate this.
Yeah, hate it.
I hate this so much. And then we push in on a coffee shop where 2 people are, quote, consciously uncoupling, end quote.
That's how you know this was written by a boomer who's like, I heard that one time in the news because the kids are not all right. Like that's
Oh yeah.
what it like.
I heard conscious uncoupling once and I was so enraged I had to write a shitty movie about it.
Yeah. Also, and I don't, let me gather my thoughts for the next insane thing. They're in the process of telling the mayor of the town that they're getting a divorce.
Yeah, so this is a question I had too, Paige, because I don't think they needed to do that. I think the mayor is just there and is one of their friends and is talking to them. But it doesn't seem like that because it seems like they had to go to this coffee shop that is also the mayor's office to ask permission from the local magistrate to get divorced.
Right.
That's the vibe of it. And the mayor, who I kind of love, because the mayor doesn't understand how to act, and what they do is just, they're at a 10 every time they open their mouth. They're at a 10. Even if like they're like, well, I don't know, man. I think like, I mean, I love them. They're great, but like we're just not great together. So we're just gonna come apart.
Right.
And then she's like, what? Why would you ever do that? Why? I don't understand. You guys are great together. You're like, ma'am, calm down. I realize this is a movie, but you don't have to yell every time. And I realize that's a little like hypocritical coming from me, and I hear that, guys.
Sure.
I hear that.
Yes.
But it's weird to see on film.
Everyone could hear that.
Amazing.
I think it's crazy that like the mayor and then the other coffee shop people, including the guy who works at the coffee shop that absolutely looks like Santa, which prompted me in my notes to just all caps, is he Santa? Question mark.
Secretly, yeah.
He's not. He's not, because they're all in only 2 scenes of this film.
Yeah.
Where like this scene where they're like, divorced, how could you? And then like an hour later when they all just break and enter her home because it's the only one with electricity.
Yeah.
Even though they made fun of her solar panels, bitches. and so they all just like appear in her house and they're just like, you can't still be getting divorced, right? We heard you're leaving the town. How dare you? You can't do that. And you're like, what? Like, shouldn't these people have been people throughout the rest of the movie as part of their, like, air quotes, community? No, they're not there.
You know what it should have been, Paige? They should have done like the It's a Wonderful Life of it all.
Yes.
Because she has to sell the house to pay for school, right?
Right.
Which makes sense to me. And to pay for like moving to Boston and getting a house and all that stuff.
Right.
But like the dad and the kids want to keep the mothership, which is what they call their house, which I low-key hated.
What if it had just like, surprise, it's the Joe Rogan Comedy Club and they've been living under the floorboards.
I hated it so much that they called it the mothership.
I mean, that's where I am this weekend. I was just like, mothership? I thought that was on Sunday.
The thing that's funny is I didn't even equate it to that comedy club.
Right.
I was just like, why? That makes no sense. It's not a ship. It doesn't move. Like, what are we talking about? Whatever.
Right.
It's just bad writing, in my opinion. But, like, the town should have bought the house from her.
Yes.
And given it to the kids or given it to the dad or whatever. And that way she can go.
Right.
And they can keep it or whatever. But they don't. They're just like, you're not really going to leave, are you idiot?
Who's going to fix my toilet?
That's literally, I think someone might say exactly that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Because she's their local handyman.
Yeah.
Because, again, the person writing this doesn't understand what an architect does. And I feel like that is part of the problem with all of these movies making people architects, because they're like, architect equals construction foreman, architect equals handyman. And it's like, those are very different jobs. Like, what?
No. An architect is just a nerdy graphic designer who studied
Yes.
like how things should operate in the real functional world. Like
Right.
And like building codes. And I'm not saying it's easy by any means, and neither is graphic design technically, but like all of that is like a different skill set than the project management / like handyman
Yes.
that is being a project foreman. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if I know that, Paige, famously an idiot, any screenwriter should know that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
I think Hallmark or Netflix should be like, oh, great, you wrote a Christmas movie? Explain to me the difference between an architect and a foreman. And if they can't, you kick them out of your office.
Well, yeah, it's bonkers to me because it's literally this like my husband could be a very good handyman because he understands how a lot of those, systems work within homes. He's a carpenter. Like,
He's got those big rough hands, you know what I'm saying?
he's got them big rough hands. We love him. We love him. Those are handyman skills. Those are great. It's hard to do. I couldn't do those things, right? So like that's your handyman skills. Your architect, like I have a corporate gig that I do once or twice a year for an architectural firm. And those are people who like literally craft blueprints is their job. Jake would have no idea it's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
And this movie is like perfect. Architect equals handyman. You're like, what? Like, but not only just handyman, sustainability handyman. Now, I could absolutely see, and she does say at one point that she wanted to be a sustainability architect.
Yes.
So that's an even harder version of being an architect because that's taking all the architect knowledge and being like, how can we make this more sustainable or energy efficient? So that's an extra layer of complexity. And the movie's just like, I guess she knows hammers.
Her dream is to live in Hobbiton, and they think because of that, she knows how to plunge very well.
So good. So good. And
It's crazy.
That's why they can't get divorced because they can't lose their plunge lady.
You know what's crazy, though, is in the scene that we're in, like, they seem like they are communicating really well.
Sure.
They seem like they have thought through this divorce.
Right.
They both really want it, and they're both still very kind to each other.
Sure.
So when everyone was like, you guys can't get divorced, I was like, I don't know, man. It seems like they both want to get divorced and are both at a good place with it. And we find out over the course of like the next 2 or 3 scenes, I can't remember exactly where, but they've been separated for like 9 months.
Right.
You know? And like separated by like living differently.
So much that he has another house in town.
He has a whole new setup pad for himself, which was like, oh, they're like divorced. It's just the paperwork isn't finished. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. And we, like, after this whole coffee shop, like, quorum, I guess, we cut back to, this is the first time we go to the mothership.
Yeah.
Where she has, like, a full-ass greenhouse. The mothership is, like, a fairy tale home where she has, like, a whole greenhouse. She's got, like, a kitchen, like, this huge kitchen, because she also is an incredible baker, because architect equals gingerbread house construction. And like all of her decorations are like natural pine boughs, and like she's got some lights but not a ton. Like she is positioned as this like horrifyingly strict environmentalist, and she's not even eating people. And like she has Christmas lights, like she has decorations. Like the movie views her like slight step back from materialism as like borderline authoritarian eco-fascism. It's crazy.
It is crazy. But we're Americans and consumerism is our god. So like I can kind of see why her family, who are just terrible Americans, I guess, are like anti-mom because of it.
I guess, but she's talking to her best friend, Melissa Joan Hart, the director of this film.
Yeah. Famously, who once directed Mikey in Santa Boot Camp.
In Santa Boot Camp. I also think it's funny that like Melissa Joan Hart, we're never really sure exactly who she is or how they met, other than that she's the kid's godmother and that she's a local realtor. That's all we know about her. And the movie treats it like we've known her for years, as if at any point they could turn and be like, you know, the local realtor, Clarissa. She always explains it all. It's crazy. But Melissa Joan Hart is just there for Alicia Silverstone's character to talk about the divorce.
Yeah, she's just honestly a good friend. Like,
yeah, this is where we find out that Alicia Silverstone is planning to move and get her old job back, which is a whole other impossible plot that we can't even, like, there's so much wrong with this movie. We can't even get into the fact that, no, someone wouldn't hold a job for you for 20 years. You've been out of the industry for 20 years. You essentially have to go back to school at this point.
when she said, I got my old job back, I guffawed. I was like, no, you did not. That is insane. Like, there's no way she would have been able to get her job back.
Never. That job doesn't exist. That firm probably isn't even still around. That is impossible. Now, if we had demonstrated that she had like kept up with school, was designing stuff in her free time, and then like submitted for a project and they took her proposal or something, like
that would have made more sense because she is kind of an architect, right?
Right.
So she's like, well, I submitted a request for like services or whatever and won the bid. So like I got to move to Boston to build this sustainability, I don't know, building or whatever,
right.
Because they accepted my offer or my bid or my project or whatever it is. But like that would make sense. But the fact that there is an architectural firm who 20 years ago tried to hire this lady and she's like the one that got away for them. She's like in Parks and Rec with Adam Scott's character, that like accounting firm who's always trying to hire him. And like he like almost goes there twice or whatever. And they're like, we almost got him or whatever. Like that's not real. Like that's a joke.
Yes.
Like that is not something that would happen. It's crazy to me. Like they just have a picture of her on the wall that says, if she comes in, give her a job immediately. Like it's crazy.
Someday. Yeah. But on top of that, it's implied that she's accepted the job. There's a job waiting for her, but it's waiting for her to have a Christmas and then sell a house. So I'm like, so you're starting this job 6 months from now? Or at minimum 3 months from now? Like, what?
Yeah.
I've never had that much lead time to a new job. Like, I've never had anyone be like, we'll hire you, but we'll wait like for this long.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Anyway, we meet her fathers-in-law because her ex-husband has 2 dads, which he will immediately throw under the bus for his own emotional needs later in the movie in the grossest speech I've ever heard.
Paige, oh man, I had some feelings about. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
But I actually do kind of like his dads.
Yes.
They're just super sweet gay dudes.
They're so
who
sweet.
Are just very much in love with each other. And I love that. They were really sweet. And also one of them is from the Cosby Show.
Yes.
I kind of loved him in the Cosby Show. And he's pretty great in this movie too. His name is Jeffrey Owens.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, they're both so sweet. And it just made me, I was like, I need more older gay couples in my life, just in general. And like, they are wonderful. And some of the, aside from Chet, only lovable characters in this film.
Yeah.
It's them and Chet against the world.
It really is. Like if Chet just like became their best friends. Actually, when Chet is taking off his clothes to fight the fire, you do see, I think it's Jeffrey's husband, the white guy in the couple,
yes,
who's like leaning over like, damn, which I thought was a very funny choice.
Remind me when we get to that section of the movie, because there's a throwaway joke in it that is so funny to me as a watcher of reality TV. And the movie does not pause for the joke at all. So we will pause for it on our show.
Can I say why I like Jeffrey so much? I didn't really watch The Cosby Show. I was a little young. I didn't really watch The Cosby Show. But a few years ago, like someone got a picture or a video of him working like as a cashier.
At Trader Joe's, right?
At Trader Joe's, right?
Yeah.
And people were like shaming him online. And he like just released a statement that was like, guys, I acted 25 years ago.
Yeah.
I have a family. Like I have to support my family. You guys are monsters. And he like called him out on just how shitty that was. And because of that, he like got picked up on a lot of like, you know, like your Ellen type shows. I don't think it was even Ellen, but like that kind of stuff. And then eventually, because of that and the way he handled that so well, he just started acting again. People started offering him roles again. And I was like, that is a very sad thing that happened to him, because that's really just everyone in the world who don't understand what acting is like being shitty.
Right.
And him handling it very well. And I love that. And I love that he got back into acting for it or because of it.
I mean, here's what I will say, and I won't blow up this person's spot, but Joe K, who was on our Thanksgiving episode for Horror Virgin, they do karaoke at a bar. So I will often do karaoke at that bar. And it's a small bar. And one of the main bartenders is a very famous child actor.
Oh, cool.
Because, spoiler, when you grow up, you don't always get to keep being a child actor. And he's like the nicest person ever.
Yeah.
But it's now this thing where like, oh, I know this famous child actor because of a very regular person job that they have.
Yeah.
And like, I think there's a reason that person doesn't actively tell people that that's who they are. And is just like, what drinks can I get you? Because I'm sure people would be weird. Like for a while, the Shermanator from American Pie, I think it's American Pie. Yeah. Worked at like the Wood Ranch barbecue at the Grove, and people would like stop him while serving tables at work and be like, are you the Shermanator? And it's like, yes, but that was like the only job he had for years. And so now he's waiting your tables. Like that is the reality of Hollywood. Right. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Sometimes you're starring in movies and then 25 years later, because the money runs out, you're being served a gin and tonic from Mara Wilson.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it's going to happen maybe. Although I think she's actually doing great. I think she went to college.
No, Mara's doing great. Yeah.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like people who you haven't seen since they were kids and now they have a real job, you know?
Yes. Anyway, her father-in-law's come over because her son is already there because he's in high school. But her daughter's coming home from Oxford and she brings her boyfriend Nigel with her. And I was very like confused when immediately Nigel seems to go full force Harry Potter. And I'm like, it's 2025. Like, I understand that people are still into Harry Potter for whatever reasons.
Not that age group, though.
Yeah.
That age group would be like, oh, that's so cringe, Nigel. Get the fuck away from me. But her daughter is like, ooh, I love the weird, I guess.
Her daughter doesn't even seem to really like Harry Potter. So I don't like that level of fandom in a relationship where you're not even really a little into it. That is tough to navigate, I think. But also, again, it's 2025. In Beyonce's America, where we know that J.K. Rowling is a transphobic asshole.
Yeah.
And so a lot of us have stopped supporting her because fuck that noise. But also, these movies and books are 20 and 30 years old, which means that this person would have grown up in a world where they exist, but not at a time when they would have like interacted with that media during a time to be a huge fan of it. I mean, I guess it's equivalent to my Twin Peaks fandom, right? I love Twin Peaks, but it was on when I was a baby, right? So like I interacted with that media much later when it was already, on Netflix and shit.
Yeah.
But I don't dress up like Laura Palmer. Like this dude is dressed like a Gryffindor. That's crazy.
It is crazy, yeah. Almost as crazy as being transphobic and then trying to pretend like your name is Robert Galbraith.
Yes. Imagine.
And creating the concept for polyjuice potion. Like, I don't know. To me, the whole, like, the way she went after she got more money than fucking Solomon, like, it's crazy to me that she went that direction. Just because Well, actually, I don't know. Some of the signs are there in the books, but whatever. Like I don't even like talking about it because I actually am one of the people who grew up like loving that franchise because I was of the age.
Right, sure.
And then just sort of had to be like, oh, I guess it's like toxic and terrible now because of its creator, which sucks.
Right.
So yeah, I don't even like talking about it, honestly.
Well, and in this movie, I think the reason they gave Nigel this personality trait is just because he's British.
Yeah, but you know what would have made maybe even more sense, even though it's further away? Making him obsessed with like Monty Python or Blackadder.
Not as easy to sell to Netflix, but yes.
Yeah, but dude, I would think anything Harry Potter is not something Netflix would want to put on screen either because of points wildly at J.K. Rowling's Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't want to have that in my movie either just because I'd be afraid of the backlash because of everything that's going on with its crazy-ass creator.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I feel like if you had done a Monty Python and this dude was just Ministry of Silly walking through the snow this whole movie, that'd be fucking hilarious.
If he had a dead bird in his pocket that he was trying to return to the doctor, like, I would have laughed every time. You know what I'm saying?
I do think that's too niche of a reference, so I understand why they didn't do it.
I know, but come on, guys. Get into nerd British comedy. It's great.
You should. But here's what they should have done, something that 30 Rock did very well, and that is to have a character from the UK that their entire, like, ethos is that they are every annoying British stereotype that Americans assume.
Make way for foot cycles!
Yes. Yeah. Popcorn at the cinema.
My favorite line of his is, I find your argument as weak as American tea. There, I've said it.
Yeah.
I don't know why that makes me laugh every time. Like, Americans are proud of their tea. Like, tea has never been delicious. Tea has always tasted like dirty water, and I'm sick of not saying it.
Oh, see, I love tea. But that's a me thing. That's fine.
I love tea as well, but that's only the tea people tell me. I don't like to drink tea because I know what it tastes like when you, like, take a cup and just put it in a ditch outside and then start drinking it straight from the tap. Like, tea is disgusting. Fight me. I am very Ted Lasso on this.
I would like to introduce to you at some point the citron honey ginger lemon tea I've been drinking. It is very delicious.
I'm not going to like it. Paige, tea for me is a me problem. Like, I get that tea, a lot of people like tea. I have never tasted a tea that didn't feel like Mother Gaia was spitting directly into my mouth.
You should be thankful that Mother Gaia took the time. But that I could have accepted that from Nigel, a very like his British Christmas traditions are weird, where he's like, where's the Christmas pudding? We should have been storing it for a week by now. Like, just like madness like that. I would have loved that. And just all the things that Americans think about English people.
Yeah.
I would have taken it. But instead, they distill all of that down to Harry Potter, which is so weird.
It is weird.
And he speaks parcel tongue. Sir, you're a Gryffindor.
I mean, so was Harry Potter.
Yeah, but you know, Boy Who Lived, Scar, and everything like that.
Also, Paige, no, he doesn't speak parcel tongue because that's not a thing. Like, I mean, I realize in the movie, I realize he does. I get it.
Right?
But like, no.
Right? Yeah, but once he's there, and it does show that Alicia Silverstone is maybe not as enthused for very valid reasons, because he's not going to school. His job is Harry Potter tour guide, and I think she views this as someone who doesn't have serious plans for their future, but is very involved with her daughter, and that's her concern.
I would be concerned too if my daughter was literally at Oxford, one of the most prestigious and older colleges. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a very prestigious school, and it's been around since like 1024 or some shit. And my daughter worked her ass off to get there, and now she's dating what I would call the equivalent of, and I'm not making fun of this person, but like someone who works at Disneyland as a character actor. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're on a path,
right?
But that path doesn't always lead to a lucrative job with a stable, like, income. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and those paths don't always converge, right? They're going to have disparate interests.
Yes.
And I think it's a very realistic fear, and the movie almost lands the idea that she is afraid that her daughter will turn out like her and give up her hard work and earned dreams for someone who would not do the same for her.
And whose dream is to be Harry Potter.
Right.
Do you want passion? Do you want tension? I know you want action.
Danielle L. Jensen's Saga of the Unfaded duology is complete. Duology, that's 2. Double the fantasy, double the fun. It's ready to be your next great fantasy romance binge. Saga of the Unfaded is a Norse-inspired fantasy romance duology, again that's 2, from the best-selling author of the Bridge Kingdom series. Book 1 is A Fate Inked in Blood. You'll fall in love with Freya. She's a shield maiden with a secret gift, and her forbidden love interest, Bjorn. You know we love Bjorn. She's blessed by the gods and battles to unite a nation under a power-hungry king, while also fighting her growing desire for his fiery son. Remember when we talked about Bjorn? It's Bjorn. Then, experience the epic conclusion to their high-stakes saga in book number 2, A Curse Carved in Bone. That's like one of the hardest places to carve things. I mean, while the bones are still in your body. Like outside your body, I'm sure it's fine. A Curse Carved in Bone is about a shield maiden. That's Freya. That's our girl Freya. She's going to fight to break the shackles of prophecy in this searing conclusion to the Saga of the Unfaded fantasy romance duology. Because trilogies are for nerds, yo. It's captivating, it's sexy, or at least that's what Elise Kova said to USA Today, and she's the author of A Deal with the Elf King, so you know she knows what's up. A Fate Inked in Blood and A Curse Carved in Bone are available now everywhere books are sold. So wrap yourself in a cozy blanket, get yourself your hot drink of choice, and curl up with Saga of the Unfaded.
Anyway, so Nigel is there. He is a parade of red flags. She is upset. And she is maybe not as kind as she could be to Nigel initially, and is very kind of obvious about her annoyance at Nigel.
The whole family is, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say they do an okay job of resetting this in the speech that she has with Nigel later a little bit, but it's the one time they maybe nail a message in the movie.
Well, and he also really backs off being the worst British person I've ever met. So, like, yeah, I think eventually when he, like, I don't know, I think he's doing the thing where he, like, doesn't think his personality is enough, so he's pretending to be something else, but it's, like, really heightened and silly and, like, annoying. And he eventually drops the facade of being literally Harry Potter.
Right.
And just, like, becomes himself. And, like, when they see him, they're like, oh, he's actually kind of a sweet, nice guy. We get to learn about him going to culinary school, and like that's his dream. He's not like a traditional college 4-year institution kind of a guy.
Right.
But he has a plan for his life and honestly prospects because his dad and mom own like a pub or a restaurant or something. So like,
yes,
it's feasible that he could like the bear that restaurant one day, if you catch the reference.
Yes. Well, and that's what they're kind of setting him up to do, except that they don't do that until the third act.
Literally.
We don't even know he can cook. He shows zero interest in any of that until the very, very like last scene of the movie where it's like, surprise, he's a brilliant chef. And I'm like, what?
Lead with that. If he had gotten out of the car from the airport wearing a chef outfit, it would have made more sense than what he was actually wearing.
Yes. Or if she had like occasionally come down into the kitchen and he was baking something. Or if he had succeeded at all in her gingerbread competition, which he does not. So like there's other baking things that he like doesn't do that the movie like sets up and he's like absent. But then all of a sudden, when they want to have a redemption arc for him, he makes a cool tart.
Right?
Off screen.
But it's like is it like gluten-free or it's like a whole different like...
It's vegan.
That's what it is, yeah.
A vegan treacle tart, which is honestly, I mean, aside from the pastry, there's not a ton in a treacle tart that would need to be replaced. So like, it's easier than one might think to do that. But allegedly it tastes good and good for them, I guess.
Yeah.
But this is also where she introduces all of her like Christmas traditions.
Yes.
Where they like hand make gifts and then they make ornaments and then they do the origami cranes. And even at this point in the script, I'm like, pick one or two because you've listed out a whole week. And I get that, but it's A, too much for us as the audience to remember. And B, if you're monopolizing all of the time with the traditions and they still want to do other things, yeah, I kind of understand the struggle there. But it literally just all of these are activities that take a couple hours max. and they're there for a week and a half almost.
Yeah.
Because we start on the 17th and go through Christmas, right?
But this is them just like saying, hey, these are the scenes you're going to get throughout this movie.
Yeah. Or not, because we don't see most of it because the kids blow her off.
We don't see all of them. We do see most, but yeah.
We see the scrapbook and that's it. Everything else they blow her off for. And you're like, oh. And the scrapbook, it only happens because the dad comes home to do it, which I was like, boy, do I have thoughts.
I know. And they weren't expecting him to either, which is funny.
Yeah. This is also where they introduce the idea that she and her husband have nicknames for each other, Betty and Al. And it's just based on that song that is such an old reference.
It's You Can Call Me Out. Yeah.
Yeah. Like some people will get it. Like I heard someone ruin the vibe at a karaoke thing by singing it, but like it's not necessarily like modern enough for those people to have those nicknames. Like realistically, Alicia Silverstone is older than us, but only by like 10, 15 years, right?
Yeah.
So like I guess maybe they might have enjoyed that song as kids.
Yeah, the song came out in 1986.
Okay, maybe not then. Maybe I'm wrong then.
I don't know how old Alicia Silverstone's character is in the movie, but in real life, Alicia Silverstone was born in 76. So she was the real actress, only 10 when that song came out. So like you're not dating at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
It was an old song by the time she met this guy. Literally 15, 16 years later, probably.
Yeah, which I guess the equivalent for that would be like if Jake and I had nicknames based on the Spice Girls, which I guess you could. I guess I'm wrong in that case. Like you maybe could. It just is it's odd that that's what they base the nicknames off of, and B, that they then reiterate it to their younger partners who are younger than us. Both their partners are like 28, 29.
Yeah.
And expect them to know the song. And I'm like, no, that'd be like if I turned to one of Jake's young coworkers and was like, hey, do you remember this obscure Lionel Richie song from the early 80s? They probably won't.
Remember the time Lionel Richie was dancing on the ceiling? They'd be like,
Right.
Lionel who?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like it lends more credence to this movie being written by a boomer who would have known that song as an adult, right?
Yeah.
And would have heard it.
That was my assumption too. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but this is where, and we haven't even met her ex outside of that first scene yet, right? So like they were in that coffee shop. She didn't tell him they were moving. And then everything else has happened without him, except his parents are there and the kids are there. And they all reveal he has a new girlfriend and she was not told about it.
Yeah. And this is where it's, and of course this is happening because they were communicating very well in the first scene of the movie, which is
Right.
that's not when you're communicating well. So it's revealed that like she's lying about the house.
Right.
And you're like, oh God, that's not good. She's lying about the house and where she plans to live like literally next month.
Right.
And oh God, he's also lying about already seeing somebody else, which I'll say like they've been separated 9 months and they're communicating and they're like happily separated.
Right.
I don't feel like it's weird for him to be dating somebody. And he started dating somebody a little bit less than a month ago. It's been like 3 weeks. I don't know why he wouldn't have told her at 3 weeks, but he hasn't told her yet. But they've been separated for like 8 months.
Yeah.
By the time that he starts dating somebody else.
I don't think it's weird that he's dating somebody else. I think it's weird that he's bringing someone who's only a month in to Christmas things.
Oh, that is super weird. Yeah.
Right.
Like when she got offended because he got her AirPods, I was like, ma'am, you've been dating 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You calm down. I realize you're, I don't know, insanely wealthy because your job is made up. But like, that's not what life is.
We should save this for when that happens.
Yeah, okay.
Because like,
That's fair.
I don't even think it's the price, but like, we'll get to it when it happens.
It's the thought that went into it. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'll also say, ma'am, you met this dude 3 weeks ago. He's known this woman for 25 years.
Yes.
Like, understand your place, you terrible 1% spoiled little brat. I hate you so much. Please walk in the snow back to Boston. I hated her.
Oh, yeah. Well, and she's meant to be disliked in the movie, you know?
Yes, she's doing a great job. Yeah, I'm not saying she's not good at her job, but
Yeah.
you're supposed to hate her, and I do.
Yeah. But at 3 weeks, dating somebody for 3 weeks, you're not meeting their parents. I mean, unless you're my weird thing, but like, we're an exception. Like, at 3 weeks, you've had a handful of dates. And it's 3 weeks over the holidays because it's implied that she met him at Thanksgiving and it is now the week before Christmas.
Yeah.
So it's like not even a full month.
And she's like living at his house.
And she's living at his house.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone in the movie treats that relationship as if they're going to get married someday, like it's a new fiance as opposed to a fling, because it's definitely a fling.
Yes. She even says when they're we're going to talk about this later, but she even says when they're breaking up, she was like, yeah, the sex was getting there. We were getting close. You know,
Right.
like we were getting close to it being good.
Right.
I was like, oh man, that's funny. But also, you're terrible. Please leave this movie forever.
Yeah, this is another suggestion that this is a boomer writing this, that no one questions it. That like, they're like, yeah, no, of course, this 28-year-old, I'm in love. And you're like, no.
You're not.
No. Please don't write your kids out of the will yet. It is dark.
She doesn't need his money, Paige. She spends so much of her daddy's money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's pretty much a Maxwell. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. It has that vibe.
Yeah.
But we then cut to Alicia Silverstone leaving and then going to talk to one of her friends from the coffee house, a woman we will never really see again. But this is Doris, her older neighbor. And Doris is like, oh, we got to cyberstalk her. I'll find her on Instagram, and finds a woman sculpting butter, which, how dare you? That is an American art form.
They really shit on it too. They're like, any place that does this is a weird place that you shouldn't go. And I was like, I don't know, man. Milwaukee slaps. Like, I kind of like that art area of the country, but
I do.
And I have seen a butter sculpture there.
Oh, yeah. They're very impressive. Like,
yeah.
Also, anywhere that has a butter sculpture is going to have great food on sticks. And I'll stand by that.
Paige, I have always wondered, and I do think you're the perfect person to ask, why do they call it sounding and not corn dogging?
I'm so upset. I'm so upset.
I know, me too.
Because you're so correct.
Because corn dogging is a much better name.
It is a much better name, and that is what it looks like. And like,
these are the intrusive thoughts I have immediately when I wake up in the morning.
this is a very niche joke for those of our listeners who've been to bad places on the internet.
Yeah. And next time you're at one of those bad places, just look over and wave at me, because I'm there too,
Yeah.
probably.
100%.
It's like a 4chan or Reddit or something like that. Yeah, that's where I am.
But it should be corn dogging.
I agree.
Right? Like, you're sticking it in a wiener.
Also, a big no thank you, for the record.
Look, if you're out there corn dogging, just be safe.
Yes.
And as long as people are safe and consenting, via con Dios.
Yeah. If you're trying to wreck that urethra, have at it. But it's not for me.
Right. But because it is sticking something into a wiener, I mean, corn dogging. Anyway.
Get it started, guys. Get it started.
Butter sculptures.
I do hate the neighbor. I hate the neighbor after this scene because it is positioned that the lady in the Instagram stalking that they found has the same name, is not conventionally attractive, and sculpts butter.
Right.
So the neighbor and her kind of laugh at like, isn't it great that he chose being happy over being vapid?
Yeah.
It's kind of gross.
Yeah. They're like, it's nice when he dates down, and you're like, no.
I know. You're like, oh, I mean, even if he was dating that person, if she makes him happy, awesome. Good for them. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Like, who cares? I've never been the kind of guy that was like, oh, I'll say this. I have been the kind of guy who, like, if your friend's dating somebody who I thought is way out of their league, I'm always like, well done, man. Well done.
Sure.
But like if they're dating someone who is not like your version of quote attractive, I've never been like, really? Are you sure?
I mean,
I've always been like, you guys happy? Great. Because it doesn't matter. I'm not going to fuck either of you.
Right.
I don't care.
Here's what I will say. Like, let's say my friend is dating someone, they break up, and that person ends up dating somebody else. If that person treated my friend really badly and then is suddenly dating someone that I perceive as maybe not as interesting or whatever as my friend, I might be like, see, he's got bad judgment. Like, where it's like, see, he was mean to you. He fumbled the bag with you. So I don't think we should be surprised that he made weird choices later. But I would try to avoid just body shaming.
Yeah, that
somebody.
was my problem, really. Like, they're more or less just saying, like, isn't it great when your ex dates a dog after you? And you're like, gross, ma'am.
Gross. Also, maybe she's one of those ladies that has, like, you know how people, instead of having like a cheese plate or dips, have like a butter board? Have you seen this?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. You want to be friends with that person to get access to that butterboard.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, she goes to the hardware store to get glass bottles to make her own perfume. And the hardware store is owned by her fathers-in-law. And they're like, oh, you shouldn't be here right now, because it turns out the girlfriend is there, which means that this woman, the girlfriend, has been in town this whole time, the 3 weeks, and no one has noticed her in this town of 10 people.
Well, some people know.
Like, the coffee shop hasn't seen her, or like, but nobody told her. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, Nigel let it slip in a few scenes before this. Yeah.
Right.
So like we as an audience know that she exists. And this is the first time we meet her.
Right. But that's also weird to have a parent dating someone for 3 weeks and introducing and telling the kids about it already.
Well, and I do think they try and play it like it's not the way they had planned, because they're just like in a
Sure.
hardware store. Well, they're technically in his dad's
Right.
hardware store, right? And so they're shopping for whatever. But so like they just are there at the same time. It wasn't like a pre-planned meet cute kind of thing.
No, but like the kids all know ahead of time.
They
like
do,
that's
yes.
the thing that I'm like, he told them about her and they've only been together for 3 weeks. Like, and it's because he moved her in. And so
Yes.
he assumed they'd see her at Chris, like bonkers, red flag behavior.
Yeah.
Anyway, we do have a moment where she's trying to pressure her youngest, who's in high school, into writing a college essay, like in these same amount of scenes where they run into her at the at the hardware store. And like, it's just all awkward. But also I'm like, you've been separated from this man for 9 months. Like, I get that there might still be emotions tied to like meeting that person or knowing that he's dating somebody, but like, this shouldn't be as awkward as it is.
And they do try and work through it, because I think she sort of feels that way too, and she's just dealing with the emotions of it being in her face, which I kind of understand.
Yeah.
Because I don't think she like holds it against him that he's dating. She just doesn't really want to like see it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And so to try and, you know, make it all better, he comes over and invites her to dinner with them. And we then cut to that dinner where they're explaining their nicknames and she is clueless because she has never heard that song.
She was like, Simon? Who is Paul Simon?
Right.
Yeah.
But we also learned that her job, Tessa's job, is, quote, she helps women start their own businesses. So she's a consultant / life coach.
She's a nonprofit. She runs a nonprofit.
Yes.
That helps women start their own businesses, which is great.
Cool.
But it doesn't make money, so there's no way she's not rich as shit.
Yes.
And sort of self-funding this with her trust fund, which I honestly think is great. I kind of thought that like her daddy is super rich and she is running like a philanthropic arm of that organization or of that family trust or something like that. And does she really do this? Or is this just what she, quote, does and she just like lives off daddy's trust fund? Because that's what it really seems like. Well, her stated nonprofit goal, I actually kind of love.
Yeah, of course.
But her as a character is terrible, and we never see her doing any, quote, work. So, like, does that exist?
Here's the thing. If she actually did that nonprofit, then at the end of the movie, she should be helping Alicia Silverstone start her business.
That's what I thought they were going to do.
Yeah.
I thought Alicia Silverstone was going to start a, like, local sustainability architecture firm for Winterlight with the help of Jamal or whatever her name is.
Jamila Jamil. Yeah.
Sure. But none of that happens.
None of that happens. And you're right, because like outside looking in, audience watching this movie, it does seem like she's trust fund baby, but the movie never explains that or tells us that. And so it seems like she just has a really successful business of helping women start their businesses. But then the things that she talks about doing and like her other endeavors and everything are not in line with that at all. And so it just seems like either she is embezzling money or she has generational wealth and is not disclosing that.
She doesn't need to. It's written all over her face and vibe.
Yes. But we then cut to the next day early. Alicia Silverstone takes everyone to like a Christmas tree farm to pick out a tree and get like apple cider and hang out with Santa. And her kids are like, no, basically, fuck you, Mom. We're going to stay in the car as
Yeah.
adults.
Hey, can you get us a cider? We don't want to go inside.
How about no? How about you walk your ass home through the snow, you ungrateful little shit? Like, what are you? Come on. And it's the 20th. it boggles my mind that in Netflix movies, everyone is buying their tree the week of Christmas.
Right?
What are you talking about? Like, what?
By the 20th, the 5 Christmas trees in my house have been set up for 40 days. Like, what are you talking about, guys?
Well, and by the 20th, there's fucking hardly any trees left. And also, we've seen her house. It is fully decorated. And we've also seen his house. It has multiple trees and enough lights to call the aliens down. Like, it's nuts. But they're at this cute little tree farm that has a bunch of other stuff to do. And it's one of those things where I'm like, get out of the fucking car and make sure your mom has a good day. Like, she just encountered like her replacement, if you want to think of it that way. The least you could do is be nice and sip some cider next to her at a Christmas tree farm, you ungrateful little shits.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. But she runs into the guy selling the trees at the tree farm, who is basically Hot Santa.
I mean, his name in the movie is Chet. It's Pearson Fode or whatever.
Right.
Who was from The Wrong Paris, right?
Right.
He is dressed as Santa and he's half her age. Like, she's 3 years from being a gilf and he's barely 30 trying to get a piece.
Right. But I do love the, like, he grabs her hand through the gloves and he's like, I'm feeling for a wedding ring and I don't feel one, so you must be single. Why don't you, like, we could hang out. You could call me. He gives her his card. Something about his business cards that cracked me up every time is they're printed on both sides.
Yeah. And it says, I wear many hats.
I wear a lot of hats.
And there are just many hats on it. Which she also knits hats, which I thought was a funny little like through line in the movie.
Yes. Well, and okay, it doesn't say what kinds of hats he wears. We do reveal that he is a manny and an exotic dancer, obviously, plus Santa, plus whatever. And I half expected him to be real Santa. Like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I wear many hats. I see you when you're sleeping. I know when you're awake. Like that was the trail we were going to go on.
But he is pretty much just Oscar Nunez from The Proposal.
Yes.
You know, he's like the one guy in town who has every job for some reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, they take the tree back and she now has, like, you know, his card. We cut to they're shooting her house with a drone so that they can list it, you know, with Melissa Joan Hart, who's her realtor.
Yeah.
Her kids left to go downtown with her husband and new girlfriend, who basically just took them shopping.
Yeah.
And they come back, they run over the drone, and they just like run inside and are all opening. First of all, they went shopping a week before they're about to get presents.
I know. I thought that was crazy. I thought it was insane. I mean, I actually kind of get, okay, the new girlfriend doesn't really know the kids, doesn't really know what to get them.
Right.
So she's like, hey,
Sure.
I'm going to take you Christmas shopping. You're going to get what you want. I'm going to box it up and you're going to open it on Christmas.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I would like to get to know you better so I can do this without you next year. You know, like that kind of thing.
Yes.
Makes kind of sense. But no, they just walk out of the truck into the house carrying the bags of clothes that maybe gifts that the mom got them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought it was a real big dick move. And the movie does play it that way, but it's real shitty.
It's real shitty. But the movie, instead of positioning it for all of those concerns we just listed that are valid, it positions it as if she's mad because it's fast fashion.
Yes.
Like, it would have been fine if they went shopping, but unfortunately they purchased sweaters that are mostly polyester. Like, that's fucking, like, that's her rage.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, there's like a completely normal emotional reason for her to be upset, and this movie doesn't understand it. But this is also where they introduced the pocket fireplace that Nigel has.
Yeah.
Which is bonkers.
But it's more or less like a cauldron.
Yeah.
That has a remote not attached to it, but that is tied to it. And anytime you hit the on button, it starts a huge fire in the cauldron.
Yeah. Don't buy one of these.
I don't think they exist, Paige.
Well, I have a tabletop stove like this, but you couldn't easily carry it around. It's larger than that, but it could fit into like a backpack.
But it is kind of like a camping stove, but a little bit smaller. Like,
it's if a camping stove was in a plastic Halloween cauldron, and that's a bad mix.
and had no actual utility.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't use that for anything.
Right, except a cool Harry Potter costume.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. Anyway, so at this point, they're all going to go sledding. And so she, the next day, essentially, because she wants to do her origami cranes and her kids are like, no. And so they just kind of keep blowing her off for things that her dad wants to do. So she's kind of coming along so that at least she's not missing out on time with her kids, which I will say, it appears that he is the non-custodial parent, where like she largely is with the one child they still have at home all the time and was with their daughter who, you know, went to college, and he's playing good dad, bad mom of like, he's not taking the responsibility of any of the challenges of raising those kids.
Yeah.
He's just there to have a good time and earn their favor because he's the fun dad because he's not doing any of the work, right?
Yeah.
So she is now kind of tagging along because he is playing dirty, I would say.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So she brings Chet with her, thank goodness. But in a very weird course of events, she accidentally drops her sled. So she has to ride down on the sled with her ex-husband. The sled crashes. She's bruised. He's feeling her up in the snow. This is the weirdest scene ever.
He's feeling her ribs up in the snow. I also want to point out that like the scene after this, the doctor's girlfriend, her sled breaks.
Right.
And Kate fixes her sled with a screwdriver she has in this jacket.
Right.
So like she might have died in this role and sledding accident
Right.
if that screwdriver had gone into her.
I thought the same exact thing because, and here's the thing. She pulls out a whole bunch of stuff in her pocket, and if she had pulled out almost like a Swiss Army knife where it's like folded, and so it wouldn't have been sticking out, then that could have made sense, right? That it wouldn't have hurt her and whatever. No, she has like a full ass screwdriver.
And screws in her pockets.
Madness.
When sledding, please remove all the implements in your pockets that you can't fly with, maybe.
Right. Well, and this is also where Tess, the girlfriend, loses her AirPods.
Yes.
In the snow, which like, yeah, you're never finding those things again. But she's then complaining. She's like, well, I didn't like seeing him getting cozy with his ex-wife. And we get like a reverse shot of like the two of them talking over fixing the sled and Chet and her husband talking. And this is where we get to see Chet's incredible comedic timing, because I want to say that he's like, oh, Harry Potter, love that one with Gandalf. Like he just gets it so confidently wrong.
Yeah.
But the best one is when he's like, Jeff Bezos loved him in The Fly. Hysterical.
Yeah.
So good.
He's like an 11-year-old. Yeah.
Best joke of the movie. I love it. But he then also has a conversation with the husband.
Yeah, this is where their partners become sort of the other exes, like therapists. So Chet becomes Everett's therapist.
Right.
And the 1% girlfriend of Everett becomes Kate's therapist.
Right. And so Tess is like, how'd you let him get away? And she's like, let him get away. He was never fucking home. And he worked all the time. And I was essentially a single parent. And when I asked for things to change, they couldn't. And I gave up my career to do this. And so I felt incredibly unfulfilled. And no one really prioritized my needs within the relationship. Everything served his needs. All valid complaints.
And then it cuts to him and he's complaining to Chet like, sometimes she wouldn't let me turn the thermostat up so it's cold at home. It's like that kind of complaint next to I was an ignored spouse, which kind of only makes you hate him. I think legit one of them was she wouldn't let me get a George Foreman grill, more or less.
Yes, that is, she wouldn't let me get an indoor grill. Yeah. But like, and Chet is like, hey, she told me that you did have electricity and toilet paper and that you were never home and you often worked on her birthday and missed most anniversaries.
Yeah.
And he has like no response to that. And then we cut over to, this is where we hear about, she's like, yeah, I mean, it made me feel really alone because like he was never there. And then Tess is just like, but why didn't you buy him an indoor grill? And I was like, what? Especially because Alicia Silverstone in this scene goes from like, it made me feel really alone, but maybe that was my fault. And I was like, no.
I mean, it is your fault for not leaving the marriage sooner, I guess, maybe. But
There
that's
we go.
the only part of it that could be considered your fault. And I definitely understand why you'd make the decision to stay. You have 2 kids that are terrible.
Right. And it's the movie, I think, views these things as weirdly equal, but the audience doesn't. The movie doesn't understand that we don't think she's at fault at all because you haven't shown us any reason why she would be at fault. You've just shown us that she's environmentally conscious and has been in a horrifyingly mismatched marriage for 25 years.
Yeah.
Like, with no chemistry or anything. Anyway, it's the 22nd. We fast forward again. And she's like, I've lost my children. They're on a luxury snowmobiling adventure and they like her more than me. And he is buying them with materialistic shit. And she's telling this to the fathers-in-law. So she's talking about their grandchildren. And their response is to be like, I don't know, sometimes people drive you crazy, but don't you love them? And I'm like, what is wrong with this whole town?
It is crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, we know what'll fix this. Gingerbread contest.
And I get why you'd think that. Gingerbread contests are pretty great.
Sure.
And I love that the dads, the two gay granddads are like the judges. And Jeffrey is dressed as like a gingerbread man. I loved it. I thought it was that part of it was super fun for me.
Yeah. And so they set it up. She brings Chet to the gingerbread thing. He's stoked to be there.
Yeah.
And then Nigel's not really playing, even though this would be something he might excel at, given that secret baker that we don't know about yet. But this is where he screams, I am Daniel Radcliffe.
I didn't even think about that page. Like his should be good.
Yes.
I mean, I get why Alicia Silverstone's wins and like the metaphor of it all I kind of love for the movie. But like they don't really spend any time with that. And he is also a baker.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Although I don't think that's been revealed in the movie yet.
It hasn't been.
But that's crazy.
That's crazy, right?
Because his should also be good, at least.
Yes. But the fathers-in-law are presenting and they're like, we're reality show presenters. I'm Noel Fielding from Great British Bake Off. And then the other father-in-law is like, and I'm Jeff Probst from Survivor.
Yeah.
And the idea that those two together are hosting this reality show, love that brand.
Yeah.
Great. But the competition starts. And in the middle of it, we don't see anyone constructing gingerbread at all, but we see like a PDA battle between the two sets of parents, which is just like weird. But I love the striptease. Of course I do.
Of course. But during the gingerbread competition page, didn't you kind of want Jeffrey, who is pretending to be Noel from Great British Bake Off, didn't you kind of want him just to play it like old Greg the whole time?
Yes, I absolutely did. Yes.
What are you doing in here, Waters?
Yeah. You seen my gingerbread mix-up. Like, that's what I wanted.
Same. I wanted that badly.
Here's what I would have wanted. I would have wanted him to walk around like Noel from Great British Bake Off, like asking people questions about what they're baking or whatever.
Yeah.
And then to have the other father-in-law be like, do you think you're going to vote somebody off the island this week? Like to play it like Survivor.
Or if every time they judge someone's gingerbread, they like put out their fire cauldron or whatever.
A gingerbread torch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I would have loved if one of the gingerbread houses was just like the elimination circle from Survivor.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. But this scene really just serves to sort of separate the couples, but they're still within eye shot of each other. And of course, the doctor and his girlfriend are a little like, kissy or what, flirty, if you want to call it that. And then Alicia Silverstone and Chet start getting, I would say, a little over the top.
Okay, but this is why I love Chet. This is when I texted you that I love Chet and I hate it. I know, because in my notes it just says I hate everyone but Chet, because the other couple are making out at the table. This is not the place or time. It's kind of gratuitous or whatever. And Chet immediately like puts her up on the counter and is literally like striptease with his clothes on, of like, like grinding on her, like grabbing her hand or whatever. And it's played for comedy and it is hilarious because it's almost like, this is how dumb you look, other couple, that like it's this over the top, right? But it's like no one else in the movie is willing to go that level of camp. Like Pearson Fode is out here having a good time and everyone else is like, I hear that they make their own toothpaste in this house.
Yeah, he's like the only one that knows what movie he's in and he's just going to have a good time while he's making this paycheck.
100%. This is why we hate everyone but Chet.
Yeah.
And a little bit of Nigel at the end. Anyway, so the other couple sees them and they kind of disperse. Her husband comes and finds her in the kitchen. And this is, I damn near screamed at the computer. I was so angry listening to this speech.
Paige, can I just summarize why it is? Because I felt the same way.
Yes.
Because the doctor comes over and is like, hey, I'm sorry I'm a bad husband, but it's my dad's fault.
Yes.
That's kind of what he says.
Yes.
He's like, growing up the only son of two gay men at the time we did gave me some issues. And it's not, I don't know, like I think there is a way to have like the conversation about like growing up in the spotlight made me hyper concerned about what other people saw in me.
Sure.
And like
sure.
not make it his dad's fault, but just say, hey, I grew up in
Yes.
kind of a weird situation and that gave me some issues. It's nobody's fault. It's just like what happened because of how I grew up and I'm working through it. I just wanted to apologize because I know it affected you negatively. That's not really what he says, though. What he says, though, is like, I'm a bad husband because my dads are gay. And you're like, I don't know what you're saying. You're insane. I hate you.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, I'm offended in so many ways. For what?
Yeah.
And it's not an apology. And then he goes on and like, and I at this point was like, how is there 40 more minutes of this film?
I literally did the same thing, but for me, in my notes, it says 38 minutes.
Yeah. And he then continues the speech to say, like, I know it was tough on you and the kids, but I just want to thank you because you'll make me an even better husband for next time. And I damn near threw my computer across the room. And like for a hot minute, I was like, if this movie thinks that is some sort of apology or anything good, or that this person is worth investing in at all and that she should be with him, I don't know what to say. Because then we go to them judging the houses. She obviously wins. She made the whole town. It would take days, but she did.
And it looks great, but it's like a miniature of Winterlight out of gingerbread. And then she like, I'm going to say throws a fit.
Yeah.
I think deservedly for what she just had to sit through her ex-husband saying. And she like smashes one of the buildings. And I wrote in my notes, oh my God, I guess she's already a gilf, but a Godzilla.
A Godzilla,
Yeah.
I'd like to fuck. At this point, I was like, oh, good, the movie understands and they're not going to end up together. Because I was like, yes, say it all. Because she like smashes it and she's like, I'm so glad that I wasted 20 years of my life to train you for the next wife.
Yes.
And I'm like, yes, like say it, make him feel every bit of it or whatever. But then literally, now granted, as she's smashing everything, I love that Chet is like, and I made the reindeer and their poop is edible.
And he's so proud of it.
He's so
And
proud of
clearly
it.
the reindeer was like store-bought. Like it's a miniature figurine.
Yes,
So he's
yes.
like, I made the reindeer. You're like, no, you didn't. You rolled up edible poops and put it behind the store-bought reindeer, Chet.
Love it. Thanks for your contributions.
But I also love Chet. Like Chet is an 11-year-old boy in a 30-year-old man's body, and I love it.
But then everyone, I do have Chet equals best himbo ever. But she then, as she like continues her speech, is like, this is why I'm fucking moving, because fuck you. I got my job back. I have another shot at my life, and fuck y'all, basically.
Yeah.
And they act like she's the villain.
I know.
And I just, in my notes, I have, she did everything for you and y'all didn't fucking care. So fuck all of you. Seriously, go live in the snow. Like, I was so upset.
Yeah.
And then we cut to the next morning. It seems like everybody leaves, and the 24th, she makes apology scones. And I was like, you have nothing to apologize for. But in this moment, Nigel is like, these are fantastic scones. Thank you. And I have in my notes, Nigel might be her only true child.
He's the only one that treats her with respect out of her children. Although towards the end of the movie, and I think maybe because she throws this, quote, fit, although I think it's very deserved.
Justified, yes.
I think they might, because there is that scene before they do the reading that they normally do every year, where he comes over, he being the dad comes over and they do that. They are sort of like having a nice Christmas moment on the couch and snuggling with their mom. So I think they might feel a little guilty, but they've been terrible up till that point.
They've been terrible, and they're still going to continue to be terrible.
Yes.
Because they ditch her scones and leave. Like, they're giving her the silent treatment to go over and hang out with dad when, like, did you not fucking listen to what she had to say?
No, which they've never done. So no.
They've never, she literally has sacrificed her whole life for you. She's trying to gain some happiness, and y'all won't even fold origami cranes with her. Get the fuck out of this fucking house that she built with her own damn hard work.
I know.
You fucking shits. I swear to God. Anyway, but Nigel stays behind and he just says, I think your biggest fear is that they'll be like you, but that wouldn't be so bad. And I was like, No, her biggest fear is that everyone else wasted her life and doesn't give a shit about her.
Yeah. I was like, Nigel, way to read the room incorrectly, bro.
I mean, we then cut to she and Chet go to Christmas dinner, I guess Christmas Eve, but they dress up. And this is also, I was like, Chet shouldn't be at this Christmas either. Like, you met him a week ago. Like, what are we doing? But I do love that he's in a tuxedo that he explains is from his stripper collection, but it's so hard to get all the Velcro bits back together.
Yeah.
Which is something I think about anytime I see tearaway clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so they get to the dad's new house. And she crushed Nigel's original fireplace, so she brought him a new one. She sets it down by the tree. The remote falls out, and I'm like, oh no, things are about to be on fire.
Yep. It's about to get hot in here. So Chet's going to take off all his clothes.
Thank you, Chet.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen for a while. They all go around opening gifts, and Tess has this weird thing where she's like, I've never cooked Christmas dinner before because normally I'd be in a soup kitchen helping the needy. And I'm just like, okay, but that doesn't balance out the whole rest of the way that you're living your life. Like the one day, basically. Like,
also, no, you're not. Like, I don't believe you at all.
yeah, I don't believe that at all.
Yeah.
But she buys Alicia Silverstone some Stella McCartney pumps and is like, do you know who that is? I was like, yes, she knows who's anyone last name McCartney. She's gonna know. She's 50. Like, what?
I assumed that was a designer, like a shoe designer that's related to Paul McCartney. I have no
That
idea
is
what
correct.
these are. Wait, really?
Yeah, it's Stella McCartney is Paul McCartney's daughter.
Oh, no shit. Okay, cool.
She's been a designer for years. I really like her style. She had this one sweater dress a couple years ago that had it was like a knit sweater dress with Space Invaders on it.
Nice. Okay.
And it looked so cool, but it was like $1,500 and I couldn't justify it. Anyway, that's more than I can spend on a sweater unless someone made it by hand in front of me, right?
Yeah.
And even then, I'll try and make it myself first, right?
I don't understand clothes. Or shoe. I don't understand. It's just, my brain can't comprehend spending that much on anything. It's crazy.
I could not. I do keep an eye out for it secondhand, but it doesn't. The ones in my size never seem to come up secondhand.
Yeah.
So I feel like there were probably a very limited number in my size because they did make it in like a 2X that would have fit me. But I feel like all the women who have them cherish them and are not going to release them for some time. But if they ever do,
reach out.
I will try and buy one secondhand. There you go. Anyway, she made her a hat, which, by the way, she's only known this woman for a week and managed to make a hat in the midst of making Christmas happen for everyone. So shut the fuck up and take the fucking hat and be grateful, you evil queen. This is so fucking awful.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, haha, a hat. And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
I thought it was symbolic in a very sweet way because she has made a hat for everyone in the quote family.
Everyone.
And so she is like, hey, I am accepting you into our now widened family as my ex and I come apart and we start dating other people. I actually kind of thought it was real sweet, but Tess is so materialistic and terrible that she's just like, well, it looks warm.
Oh, God.
Because she's clueless and doesn't understand the moment that's happening right now.
If this was a real relationship and Tess was actually really trying to earn her approval, that hat would be the sign that she had it.
She would have cried.
She would have cried.
100%.
This movie does not understand that at all. And then she buys for her husband an indoor grill, like a George Foreman grill.
Her ex-husband. Well, I guess they're not technically divorced yet, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ex. Yeah.
Right. And he's so excited and she's like, I know you really wanted one. And that's when I started to get really angry because I was like, this movie thinks that Alicia Silverstone is in the wrong. And I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
Yeah. And she actually says, sorry it took so long, which is even sweeter because it is her saying hey, I realized that you wanted things in the marriage too that you weren't getting, which was an indoor grill. And the things that she wasn't getting in the relationship were
love and respect.
Time with her husband. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And so It just makes him look like a whiny little bitch, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But he is very happy to receive it. And I think he does understand that it's more than just a grill. It's like a kind of an apology for her, not prioritizing his materialistic needs, perhaps because she wasn't getting any of her needs met.
Right.
Anyway, but he does give her, I think, a very sweet gift in this moment. And it is is it perfume or something? It's
perfume that she makes.
Yes.
Which, until it reveals that he made it from scratch,
yes,
I was still angry.
Yeah, that's the part I was like, oh shit, that's real sweet.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jamila Jamil opens her present and it's AirPods. Now, this is portrayed as a gift that is maybe not as thoughtful. I disagree. She lost her AirPods the other day. You managed to get them to her in 2 days, a thing that she was sad about losing. Like, oh, you remembered. Like, that's cool.
I think it's a very appropriate gift to get someone you've been dating 3 weeks.
Yes.
Like, I thought that Tess, she's terrible. So she is literally one of the worst, most materialistic, terrible people on the planet. And for her, I think it was the dollar amount he spent on her. It was like, you didn't spend enough on me kind of a vibe. I hated it.
So I don't think it's that, but the movie doesn't articulate it well.
Oh, it's like you didn't put as much thought into it, which I think he put enough thought into it, Tess.
Right.
Like, you were very upset about having lost these and he replaced them. Grow up, you child. You rich, petulant child.
I think it's that. I think it's also, I could have replaced these. Why wouldn't you buy something I wouldn't think to get myself? Which is like, hey, maybe communicate that.
Yeah, stop asking and expecting your boyfriends to read your mind, or partners, whatever. Like, it's insane to me.
But I think it's also because that means he bought them after she lost them, which was only a few days ago.
Yeah.
So that means he only started shopping for her a few days ago. And I'm like, well, spoiler, bitch, you've only been dating for 3 weeks. So, like, when was he supposed to? Like,
yeah.
Right?
And he's still, like, getting to know you. Like, putting thought into a gift is like, you got to take a lot of context and a lot of history with this person and what you know about this person into account. And he's only known you 3 weeks. Like, the biggest fact he might know about you is that you lost your iPods 2 days ago.
Right.
Or AirPods or whatever.
Yes. And she's mad about the perfume, which this is going to sound terrible. The only worse gift option would have been to swap those gifts and give her the perfume.
Yeah, that would have been terrible. Yeah. Hey, I want you to smell like my ex-wife. Is that cool? Can you smell like my ex-wife?
Yikes. But I think you gave her something very, very thoughtful that you knew she would love, that she wasn't expecting. And you just bought me AirPods. And I'm like, girl, you've been dating for 3 weeks. Yeah. Take the AirPods. Did he have them engraved? Like, whatever.
She's terrible.
But she's not happy. But as it's happening, she's kind of like yelling about it in the moment. And everyone's like, whoa, what? And she's like, yeah, sure, I'm making it weird. And I was like, you are, though. And this is when the fire gets knocked over. Chet accidentally clicks the remote, starts a huge fire.
The tree catches on fire. It's
the
like
tree catches on
National
fire.
Lampoon Christmas Vacation when it catches the tree on fire.
Yeah. And then actual firefighter son goes and gets the extinguisher to fight the fire. Meanwhile, Chet, it reminded me of in Magic Mike XXL when Joe Manganiello, who dresses like a firefighter for his thing, he's like, I'm not a firefighter, I'm a male entertainer. Like, it was that where he just starts stripping and trying to put the fire out with clothes that we will find out later are fire retardant.
Yeah.
But when he explains why, it's that he uses a lot of pyrotechnics and flaming puppets in his stripping act. And I'm like, I would give anything to see this.
I was like, are you like the Jeff Dunham of strippers? Like, why are there puppets involved?
Ooh, so much. So much, though. But they put the fire out and she escorts him to the door as she's like sending him home because he is literally almost nude and will need new clothes.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, are you actually moving away? And she's like, yeah, I am planning to move away. And he's like, Chet understands. We could do a long distance thing or not. Like, we've only known each other for a week, but like, it's been nice while we had this, essentially.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, thanks. And then they have a barn burner of a kiss. And then he's like, okay, bye.
She turns him down. Like, it's very clear that it's a no from her dog. You know, like she's over it.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's still into it.
Well, I think he's into it if she's into it. Does that make sense? Where
Yeah,
he's
I
like,
think
if you
so,
want
too.
to, I'm down. If not, Chet's gonna keep going.
Yeah, I mean, we see him after this, if you want to call this a breakup. We see him after this, and he's like excited to see everybody. He's like, hey, it's, you know, he's not like holding a grudge or anything. Yeah.
Yes.
I think Chet knows the way Chet looks, and Chet knows he can pick up somebody on the waiver wire really easily. Like, it's not going to be difficult for Chet.
Well, Chet does ultimately pick Tess up off the waiver wire, and then they go see The Lion King together off screen.
Right.
But that's not going to last either.
No.
Anyway, so we cut to everyone kind of goes home and all the power goes out because of the storm. But we wake up in Alicia Silverstone's house and she still has power because solar panels.
Right. And battery. The house has a big battery in it.
Right.
Yeah.
But they go to the dad's house. There's no power and Tess is leaving and going to walk through the snow. But who should show up in the snowplow? But Chet, who takes Tess with him, essentially. But Chet's just like, hey, I'm Snowplow Man. It's Mr. Plow. Like, it's nuts. And at this point, I just have Chet may be Santa. Why is he everywhere?
Chet is the stand-in for every other actor they didn't want to pay to be in this movie.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But so he takes Tess and they make their way to New York. But I love that he's like, see ya. Bye, Kate. Bye, Guy. Because he never remembers the husband's name.
You know what was funny? I call him the doctor because I forgot his name fully every time I had to write a note about him. So I just wrote the doctor.
I did too.
Yeah.
The doctor or her ex.
But there's someone, when I looked at the credits page, this movie put this much thought into naming their characters. One of the character names is Tommy Townsfolk. So I don't feel bad about not remembering everybody's name, guys. I just don't. I'm sorry.
Sure. What ensues next is a weird montage of them gathering the townspeople to come to Kate's house, Alicia Silverstone, aka Kate, because she has power. And then we get our weird It's a Wonderful Life moment of like, I can't believe that you're leaving. We all loved you, and even though we didn't treat you great.
Well, that's back at the house. That is,
Yeah.
But before they go back to the house, they're going kind of door to door on Christmas,
Right.
to see who is home on Christmas, just like the Wet Bandits,
Right.
And like nobody's home because they're already breaking and entering into Kate's home,
Right.
Because she's the only one with power.
Right. And then once we're at the house and they all do give their speeches, she basically goes around making apologies as if she's been the villain of this movie. And like, so she like goes to her son and is like, yeah, you should be a fireman. Like, I don't need your essay. Go be a fireman.
She has been on him the whole movie about writing the college essay, and he does.
Yes.
But it's all about like how she made him want to be a better person, and so she gets up and throws away his hard work into the fire. And says, you need to be a firefighter. And he's like, I know, I was always going to be a firefighter. Like, I don't know. It was just very funny to me.
Super funny. She signs the divorce paperwork, but they decide that they're not going to get divorced and she's going to stay. She does have a talk with Nigel where he like has her try the tart and everything. And she's like, she says, you're very sweet. Thank you for being kind to my daughter. And we're all happy you're here.
Yeah. And it's clear that you make her happy. And what more could I want
Right.
for a partner for my daughter? Like, it is really sweet. This is that kind of, I kind of feel like we haven't seen it in the movie, but at some point Nigel dropped the Harry Potter act and started being his real personality.
Right.
And that's when they started to connect with him. And we just get that through, he now made this tart that's like vegan and she loves it. And like,
Right.
we now love Nigel. I kind of wish we had actually gotten a scene where like he talks to his girlfriend and she was like, hey, maybe drop the Harry Potter shit because like you're a fun, nice person without that shtick or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But we don't. We never get him being himself until this moment and then immediately being accepted by Kate, which is fine, but that's what's happening here.
Yeah. But then essentially they're not going to get divorced. We cut to a year later and she's coming home from being a sustainability advocate and architect somewhere and they're going to grill on the indoor grill together. And that's the movie.
Yeah, that's the movie, guys. Yeah. So having seen the movie, having talked about the movie, Paige, what did you think about A Merry Little Xmas?
Ooh, I don't like it.
Paige, I think you have to pick the next one because I picked two terrible back-to-back Netflix Christmas movies. They weren't even like so bad they were fun. They were just like fine.
Right.
I don't even know that this movie is fine like Our Little Secret was.
Right.
This movie, I don't even know is worth watching. When we finished it, Natalie was like, I'm never watching this movie again. And please understand that my wife loves Christmas movies.
Yes.
That should tell you the quality of this movie. I do think it does a really good job of showing why a gift exchange that is more or less like the gift of the Magi only works when those two people are alone. Because if you're watching that with an audience, it becomes very awkward for everybody. And that's like why Tess leaves, because it's like an awkward moment. But I didn't love this movie, I'll be honest with you. I hope to never see it again. Santa Boot Camp was way better.
Oh, I loved Santa Boot Camp.
So, Paige, do you have any fun facts for us?
No, there are no fun facts for this film.
Well, sadly, there are no facts.
There are
fun
no
facts.
facts.
And I gotta be honest with you, there's no budget or box office information either because, you know, it's a Netflix movie, so it didn't go to theaters and they don't typically talk about how much their budgets are, although sometimes you can for like the really expensive ones, but spoiler alert, this one wasn't one of those. So I don't have that either. So maybe we should just jump to the romance scale, Paige.
Sure. Our romance scale is a scale of 1 to 4. Can I guess that it's going to be ones across the board?
Yeah, because there's nothing romantic in this movie at all ever.
Yeah.
Do we think they're still together, they being Kate and her husband Everett?
I hope not.
I hope she takes that job that architecture firm's been trying to give her for 20 years and gets out of there.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it's a 1 for me. I don't think they're still together. It's just rough all around.
Yeah. So this week I made you watch A Merry Little Xmas, and I do very much apologize. What are we going to watch next week, Paige?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
You know what I think we should do, Paige? This might be a hot take,
Okay.
but it's a movie about a guy who travels from New York to LA to win back the love of his life as she works at Nakatomi Plaza. Die Hard.
I'm down.
What? Let's do it. Oh, I'm not even joking. I would 100% do that because, listen, by the end of that movie, it's just like this movie, Paige. It is a couple about to get divorced. The unromantic love interest.
Yes, and they end up together at the end.
Yes, and by the end of the movie, they're together. It's this movie, but good.
Yes, I'm on board.
Listen, if you're on board, we're doing it. So guys, your homework for next week is to watch my favorite Christmas movie, Die Hard.
Let's fucking go. Do you have any reviews for us, Todd?
I do. Yeah, so this week I'm going to read, I think this is honestly my favorite Spotify comment we've gotten in a little bit, and it's from Adam, and it did come in on our most recent Your Little Secret episode, and it says, this is a joke about praise and worship music. This is a joke about praise and worship music. This is a joke about praise and worship music. And then in parentheses, key change. This is a joke about praise and worship music. And Adam, that is the funniest praise and worship joke I think I've read. That's so good. Anyway.
Adam. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And if you don't get that joke, listen to the first verse 4 times and I Can Only Imagine.
Oh.
Like, I cannot believe that song spawned like a movie series and the guy didn't bother writing a second verse to the song. Anyway, but guys, if you want to have me read your banger Spotify comment or 5-star Apple review, leave us one of those things and I'll do just that. So yeah, if you guys like this show and want to hear our other show where we talk about horror movies, that is The Horror Virgin. That's the only other podcast I am on, but Paige is also on Cult Podcast, which you can find at Cult Podcast. And you can find us on social media. I am at Todd J. Awesome, literally everywhere. Paige is at Paige Wesley on Instagram.
No, it's at Rampage Wesley on Instagram and TikTok, at Paige Wesley on Twitter.
That's right. All right. So that's where you can find Paige. If you want to find the show, we are at Romancing the Pod Show, right?
Yep, Romancing Pod Show on Twitter.
Well, and Instagram, right?
And Instagram, but it's show SHO because character limits. If you start typing Romancing the Pod, it'll come up.
It'll definitely come up on Instagram. I don't know about Twitter because I haven't posted on Twitter in a hot ass minute. So like, who knows? But that is where you can find more of us. So yeah, guys, give us a follow. Support the show any way you can. We'd love it.
Smash that like button.
Hell yeah.
That's going to be it for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
And I'm Todd.
And you complete us.
Sustainapletion. Bye. I felt bad for everyone in this movie, nerds.
Hey, this is Lauren Ash. I'm primarily known as an actor. You may have seen me playing Dina on Superstore or Lexi on Not Dead Yet. But did you also know that I have a true crime podcast? That's right. I host True Crime and Cocktails with my cousin, Christy Oxborough. She is my best friend in the world, my cousin by blood, sister by life, and she is a fantastic true crime researcher. We've been doing the show for 5 years, and we cover a different case on every episode. We're also kind of known for our signature banter that we do in every episode. A lot of people talk about how it's like listening in on two best friends just having a chat, which is kind of what it is. We like to cover a variety of crimes. Like I always say, true crime doesn't always mean murder. We do heists, we do scandals, we do all kinds of things. So come check us out. New episodes of our award-winning podcast, True Crime and Cocktails, are available every Tuesday wherever you listen to podcasts.